Hello, Melissa here. Just a quick note before we launch into the episode. The episode you're about to hear was actually recorded on the 2nd of December before we heard the news that Station 19 was being cancelled. So if we're gabbling on as if nothing has ever happened, it's because nothing had happened at that point. You're also going to hear me mention Sherry Som, who Foster's fans will need no introduction to, and who Grey's Anatomy fans may know as the love of Terry Altman's life and her daughter's namesake, Alison. I'm going to mention Sherry in probably a very casual way. I can't remember what I said, but it's likely to be very casual. But what it won't reflect, because again, it hadn't happened yet, is that Sherry tragically lost her husband, Camar de los Reyes, on the 24th of December. So I'm sure that you'll join me in sending all the love we can muster to Sherry, to Camar's 3 sons, and to all of his friends and family who survive him. So with that said, on with our usual shenanigans. Welcome back to part 2 of the Spotlight on Lost Storylines. Shall we move on to kind of I've called it minor character stuff because it's stuff that involves the characters that's just kind of fairly inconsequential, but is there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So this was one of our listener suggestions, Matty. Matty came up with...
Oh, Maddie.
Matty, it's kind of a reverse forgotten storyline because the writers
what do you got, Maddie?
added something in and hoped we wouldn't notice, I think. So it wasn't something that they gave to us and then forgot. It was something that they gave to us hoping that we'd forgot that we didn't have it before. And that is Maya's that's Maya's second bedroom.
Ah, the guest bedroom.
Yeah, which I think we might have mentioned when we were doing one of our breakdowns when Andy moved in for like the 38th time.
Yeah.
And because the first...
She had her divorce papers in the freezer?
Probably, yeah. But initially the first time she decides to move in with Maya, she's sleeping on the sofa, as we'll recall from Dearborn entering the room and Andy telling Maya that she doesn't approve of the overnight guest that's been in her house. But then when Andy moves in again in season 2, she gets her own room.
She does. She gets promoted off the couch.
Yeah. So, and then...
Because Maya had a new room built in an apartment.
Apparently so. And then the apartment also gets a remodel before Karina moves in.
Yes.
So, I mean, presumably Maya owns the apartment because I can't see a landlord stumping up for a remodel like that. So,
no, and could you imagine changing the whole dynamic of the apartment complex?
There you go.
To add a room.
Exactly.
I mean, that's some serious stuff.
Well, Matty had a suggestion, which she's doing the writers a solid here because she's justifying their position. So she suggested that the room was always there, but that Maya was using it as a gym. Prior to Andy.
Okay.
So when Andy came to stay on the couch, the spare bedroom was actually the home gym.
Okay, so that's where like the treadmill was.
Exactly. So she's had to move all of the gym equipment out in order to move Andy in.
Okay. So she must really love Andy.
Yes.
To give up her home gym. Exactly.
Which we know. We know that her love for Andy runs deep.
It does, which you don't ever understand.
I do not. But yeah, so that was a fun one. So thanks, Matty, for that. Then I've got Travis's scar as one of these things because in 205 he has a very prominent scar from his heart surgery. But by 409, No One Is Alone, it already seems to have miraculously disappeared completely.
And we've got nothing. I wish I had his scar healing abilities because we've got none at all.
And during his conversation, like it's with Vic in this particular episode, he's like talking to Vic about leaving things well alone. And he shows Vic a scar from a scab that he picked on his ankle. And then he opens his shirt up to show there's no scarring at all through his surgery. And he just said, that's because I didn't pick it. I didn't pick at it.
Yep.
So they've tried to justify the no scar.
No.
Come on.
It's not going to work. That's not going to work.
You and I both have surgical scars.
Yes.
And I didn't touch mine. I was a very good girl. And it's still, you can still very clearly see that someone's hacked in with a bloody knife.
I was just going to say, I'm sure you can still see it.
It looks awful.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a friend who spent literally hundreds of pounds on silicone patches and all kinds of treatments to try and avoid keyline scarring. Mm-hmm. And it just is not possible.
Nope.
So I don't understand why they did this. And it's not like Travis lives his life shirtless.
Right.
For the few times that he needs to be shirtless, would it really be an issue to get a makeup artist in to stick some silicone prosthetics on?
No. I mean, come on, guys. You owe us a little bit more than, I just didn't pick at it. That's all.
Yeah, and so it's magically disappeared. Come on, just hire somebody to stick some silicone prosthetics on. It's not...
I'll do it.
Go for it. You're only down the road.
I know, and I'm sure I can do it. I'm sure I can figure it out.
I don't think he's even been shirtless once a season.
No.
I don't remember him shirtless at all in season 5.
No, I don't either.
I mean, not that I'm necessarily the demographic that they're appealing to when they have Jay Hayden take his shirt off, but I think I would still remember.
Yes, no, I think you would too. I mean, yeah. So if you guys, if you're listening and you need just somebody to apply silicone scarring, I will do it.
Have glue, will travel.
Yeah, yes. And all of a sudden we have to explain why the scar is back now.
Yes. But yeah, that's my narc about that. Anything more about Travis's scar or lack thereof?
Travis's scar has a spot on our podcast.
Yeah.
The fact that came up. Travis's scar.
Shall we move on from Travis's disappearing scar to Ben having to give up firefighting? Yeah,
whatever happened to that?
God knows, because it was such a big to-do. They made such a big deal out of it. It was Ben's big dilemma. Does he give up the job that he is so passionate about, or does he give up Prue? You know, what's he going to do about it?
You just rhymed Prue and do.
Prue and do.
Does he give up Prue? What's he going to do? It just felt like you were going all in, like you were like Eminem. You were getting ready to freestyle like Slim Shady.
Mum's spaghetti.
Yeah. I was so funny. Mum's spaghetti. And we're done. There that went.
That's all I can remember from that rap is Mum's spaghetti.
Yeah, the accent just took it away though. Mum's spaghetti. We're done with that now.
Eminem BBC newsreader style. But wasn't it? Like, they made such a song and dance about Ben having to give up firefighting, and like the whole thing, you know, when Vic was like, we've got Prue, and he's like, no, we haven't, we can't celebrate yet, because there's this giant caveat that I've got to make a big deal about, you know. And let's face it, it's not like the Millers haven't raised a valid point in saying Prue's already lost one father. Ignore the fact that he could die on the job in a fire, but he's already had a cancer that's associated with firefighting, right? And the toxins that they're exposed to. So there's more than one way for Prue to lose father number 2 through firefighting. So I feel like there was lots and lots of room to explore this, and instead their resolution was, oh, nudge nudge, wink wink, we just won't tell them that I'm going to stay on as a firefighter.
Yeah, just all of a sudden, it's just, I don't know. Like, come on, guys. Like, that
was their big resolution. Oh, we just won't tell the Millers what I do for a job. Come on! Come on!
Oh, God. Awful. It's awful, guys.
There was literally one whole
dollar store super glue
of drama,
silicone scar
For nothing.
For nothing.
Come on. You can do better than that.
Yeah, that's just that I think that was, some of the lazy writing that we see sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe just a little bit.
Yes.
A little bit of the lazy writing.
No, they made this whole
I hate to say it. Sorry, guys.
Did me in. But there we go.
Did me in.
Did me in. So that was all I had for kind of the minor events and characters' lives and surroundings.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
Yeah. No, but I do feel I agree with what you were saying. Just to give my input on Warren is like, I mean, they really worked that up.
Yes.
Like they worked it up big,
yes.
And then to just kind of plop was like, really? Come on, guys. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think that they really did a disservice to that storyline, and even to kind of wrapping it up with Dean, kind of in that sense, they just kind of, I don't know. I don't think they knew what they were doing with it, and so they just were like, we're just gonna put it over on this shelf over here,
which I think they do so often, and it's like think things through.
Yes.
I wonder if things are going to change now with the changing of the guard a bit, maybe?
Changing of the guard.
Changing of the guard. I cannot tell, I'm just a slight tangent, but I cannot tell you how excited I am about having Peter Paige and Zoe Clack running this thing. I don't know too much about her, but I just have not, I run out of superlatives for Peter Paige. I just love that man. I just love him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm very much looking forward to the change of the showrunners, and just especially since we know Peter Paige has a heart for our girls, and the show in general. Super excited.
Peter Paige is just
he's brilliant.
He is brilliant, and I know I've mentioned this show a few times now, and it's probably getting repetitive. But Julia and I were late coming.
Which one is it? The Fosters?
To the Fosters, yeah, because because we just couldn't watch it in the UK. I mean, it came out in like 2013, and no UK TV station bought it. And I would check like literally every 3 months for a decade. I've been checking, and every time we got it, like checking the TV guide just to see if it was there. Like do a search on the TV guide. No, it's still not coming up. Every time we got a new streaming service, check that, and like every 3 months, I just keep checking Amazon. Is it there? No. Is it on Netflix? No, still not on Netflix. Just because I've been obsessed with seeing this show for a decade, and then when we got Disney Plus, it was on there, so we could finally watch this show. And then I built it up over a decade in my head to be like this amazing thing, and then it's like, is it going to disappoint now because I've built it up to be this? And it does not disappoint. It is everything that I wanted it to be and so much more. But Peter Paige I mentioned Bradley Bredewig as well because that's his creative partner, and it wasn't Peter Paige is on his own, but Peter Paige is at Station 19 on his own. That's the reason I only mention him.
Okay.
It is the most inclusive TV show ever. But it does not preach. It doesn't. You're learning, but you're not being taught a lesson. And we were listening. We had a long drive to my physio yesterday, and then obviously a long drive back. And so we put a podcast on, and we listened to one of the stars, Sherry Som, talking about the show. Just because they keep playing bloody Christmas music on the radio at the minute, and there's only so much jingling of the bells that one can deal with this early in December. So Sherry Som it was, and Sherry Som is a woman of color. She's mixed race, and she was talking about how Peter Paige and Bradley Bredewig and another one of the writer producers, Joan Johnson, would come up to her and say, "Okay, right, what would you say?" We know what we want to say, but what would you say?
Yeah.
And how does this make you feel? And what would happen to, like, what's your take on this situation? We want Lena, the character, to be in this situation, but we ain't black. You know, in Peter Paige's situation, I'm not a woman. I am not a woman of color. Right. Ergo, I know how I want this to go, but is it how it should go? And what do you feel? How would it make you feel? What would you?
Oh, I love that.
And so it was just so collaborative.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that they go toward, not away from. And so I'm so excited. And they had, I mean, bearing in mind this show did start back in 2013, and they had trans characters and trans actors on their show.
Okay.
At a time when nobody else was doing that.
Well, and I have a question. Were they in real life?
Yes.
And I think that's amazing, because I've seen some shows where they don't. And I heard some trans people talking about how offensive that is to the trans community.
It is. Yeah.
And so that's why I was asking. So awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is what I mean, like Peter Paige and the people that Peter Paige surrounds himself by do things right. And they don't just want to do things right and then just like hope that their good intentions are enough to scoot by on. They actually do things right. Because if they don't know the right way to do things, they ask. And they ask the right people.
Okay.
You know, we want to write a storyline about a black woman who is affected by colorism because she has light skin. So let's ask a black woman who has light skin about how colorism affects her, rather than just doing our own thing. And so I am excited to have somebody like that running this show.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that input, Melissa, for any listeners who may not have known that, because I didn't know that.
That's why I love him.
Knowing the behind the scenes or the backstory is awesome. So thank you for that.
I love him. I love him dearly. And why I want him to be my gay husband.
Okay.
Cop stuff is my next big topic. Bold underlined.
Okay.
And Hannah's email, when Hannah wrote in, she said, I think I've missed the opportunity to put my suggestions forward, which you would have if we had managed to get all of the recording done. Yeah. But as it was, that was already a whole section in our notes. So you were just on board with us, Hannah, is what it was.
Yes.
But whilst Ryan was a main character on the show, we saw so many FD-PD crossovers, didn't we? We had Maya and Andy having the aid car on site as emergency backup in episode 105. Jack and Ryan are supposed to work together with the help of Officer Rice on disaster prevention, which ultimately doesn't happen due to the incident in the garage. And both departments are called to the garage. To the garage. I
love it.
In 109.
AB watches this show on YouTube where he calls it the garage. And I remember the first time I heard it thinking, what? The what?
The garage.
Yeah. And so that's so funny. Sorry.
There you go. The garage.
Garage.
It's quite right. Season 2, we've got Jack's ride along with Ryan. That's in 203, I think. And then we have the supposedly annual first aid training in 205.
Supposedly annual. I love that. While we're talking about forgotten storylines, supposedly annual.
Yeah. So we have all of these crossovers. The emergency backup thing, when Andy and Maya are in the aid car outside the hold-up thing. They allegedly do this all the time.
Yeah.
I believe that is a direct quote. All the time.
That is a direct quote. You can totally quote it. Yep.
How many times have we seen it, Tiffany? She's holding up a finger because she's drinking. Yeah. Uno.
Even if we'll be generous and say that was one time.
Yeah. Solo Uno.
That's so sad.
I'm annoyed. Yeah, that's what I'm sad about. That disaster prevention and first aid training. Both of those things are allegedly annual.
Nope. Never see those again.
Once. The ride-along with Jack and Ryan, there was no resolution to it.
No, there wasn't.
Sullivan sent him to do it, so he was supposed to feed back and tell everyone just what it's like to be a copper. Because of their poor communication and poor cooperation between the two departments. Nothing came of it. Nope. Where was the feedback?
Seriously.
What the hell happened? So, Ryan left, and so did all of the interaction with PD.
Yep.
Until we get Dixon, and then he's the bad guy, and then all of our interactions with PD are us against them.
Yep. How horrendous.
Yeah.
Seriously. I'm being serious. It was like, come on.
I know you are, yeah. Yeah. So
I know it's like there's so much to say, but like nothing to say because you just can't.
And they'd already introduced Rice. Mm-hmm. Rice is already there. Mm-hmm. I mean, like she's comic relief, which she's fantastic at. But we've already got Rice, and to a lesser extent, we got Kingsley, who Maya and Jack were fighting over.
Right.
So I'm not saying every week.
No.
Bring Rice and or Kingsley in, but a couple of times a season, 2-3 times a season.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
You got 18 episodes, every 2 or 3 episodes. Mm-hmm. Just why don't we have like a joint operation, or we have Rice or we have Kingsley, who we've already met, who we already know. We know Ryan's gone. We're all very sad about it.
But how many calls do we see PD at the call?
Yeah. So just have someone we know there.
Yeah, that just, even if it's like a one-liner where it's like, or even 2 words, where they just come up and say, something, it would be, I agree. And it's just, I have nothing to say because it's just so bad. Like, I mean, PD's already there running around.
Yes. And it literally went from like, we've got a guy on the inside of PD, so we're going to have all of this joint stuff going on, all of it, and then he dies, and so now we're just going to be like that PD are the enemy.
So PD dies. Yep.
Yeah, until they're brought in as the enemy. Yeah. Yeah. And so all of the collaboration, all of the cooperation with PD,
it's just done.
Goes out the window.
Yep.
So, and by the way, I was really pleased with all of the institutional racism and all the stuff that was brought up, because it's relevant and it's prevalent. And, I follow US politics quite closely. Mm-hmm. So I'm familiar with all of the cases and everything that goes on over there. I'm not blind to that. And it's really important to bring it up, but
it is.
And I'm also not for like whataboutism. I'm also not about that. So I'm not saying that we should have had someone there saying, but it's not all coppers. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that we needed the other side of it, because there's no justification whatsoever for the institutional racism that permeates the police department in the US in general. But I'm just saying, like, there might be a way that they could have done that differently, where like Ryan's dead, therefore no more police stuff.
I agree. They took it from one extreme to the other, and it was unnecessary. So much more that could be done with that they're just missing out on, and it really is too bad. I agree 100% with what you're saying.
I've got a pitch for Peter. Tell you, mate. I've got a pitch for Peter Paige.
You have several pitches.
I've got a pitch for you, Peter. I'm gonna, there's the one Chicago thing. We're like with Chicago. There's Chicago Med and Chicago PD and Chicago Fire. Never watched any of it, but I know that it's a thing. I'm telling you, there's a spin-off to be had. There is a spin-off to be had. We can have Grays, we can have Station 19, and we can have a police spin-off. Everyone can enter. The worlds can collide. One med will be out the window. This is going to be the call me Peter. Call me Peter. Have I got a pitch for you?
Have I got a pitch for you?
Have I got a pitch for you, mate? But yeah, just the police thing was just cut off quite quickly, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Anything more to say about cop stuff?
No.
Marvellous. Shall we move on to families?
Let's do it.
Okay. Andy's family. We meet Tia Sandra, played by the fantastic Laura Salon. I used to watch ER. Did you watch ER?
No, I never watched ER.
No. ER was on around the same time as Friends, and you were too young to watch Friends when it was out. Yeah, and so I'm thinking maybe ER as you were too young probably. But I used to watch ER back in the day, and she played a nurse called Tuni on ER. So I was and I haven't seen her since. So I was very pleased to see Laura Salon back. But anyway, I digress. We meet Tia Sandra in 316, Louder Than a Bomb, and then she's in the first 2 episodes of season 4, and then we meet her husband and her daughter, Andy's sister cousin Michelle.
Yep.
And then in 402, they tell her, "You're stuck with us now, kid."
Mm-hmm.
But despite being stuck with them, we don't see or hear from them again.
Yeah, where do they go?
Apart from the COVID drive episode, which I think was 410.
Which was 2 seconds.
Yeah. And technically we see Sandra in 515, but it's a flashback to Andy's childhood. Right. So in my head, it doesn't count.
No.
Michelle brings takeout to the houseboat in 510.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that is it.
Yeah, literally.
So, and we learned that Michelle was queer, didn't we? And had a crush on Maya.
Mm-hmm.
So how fun would it have been to keep her in, have her flirt with Maya a bit?
Just a little bit.
Make Karina mad.
Yeah.
And there's an opportunity to explore Andy's salsa dancing, some of her culture, maybe have her speak a little Spanish. Mm-hmm. Keep that in there if they have her family in there.
Yep. But
no.
No, I agree. I think there could have. I actually talked to Melissa Marty about this when I had her on my Rejoice Out Loud podcast for healing positivity and all that fun stuff. And I talked about how it would have been fun to kind of have her maybe go on even a couple dates with Maya before we introduced Karina, if that would have been possible in some way. And how we kind of lose the family as a whole. And she agreed that she was, bummed that we don't see the family anymore, and about bringing that character back in. And so she had the same exact thoughts that you just said. And so I thought that was cool. But I agree. I think that there's just so much that can be done that doesn't get done, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's just done on a whim, you know what I mean? Or if it's I don't know, because I'm picturing when you miss an exit on the highway and you're like, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden you're going in this direction, you know what I mean? And it's so what's going on in the writer's room? Really, what's happening in there?
Yeah. And again, I don't need Andy to live with her family and or to have them drop by the station every week or something. But just two. Come on, let's just give us two episodes per season where Andy interacts with her family, and not just a mention, I can't do that, I'm going to Tia Sandra's. Give me Tia Sandra, come on. Let me see her.
Even if it's her dropping off a cake at the station for the team, right? I brought you this cake, I hope you guys enjoy it after your call. Something as simple as that, right? It would take 20 seconds.
And I would really love to. Why wasn't Michelle and Tiasandra could have both been at the boxer size thing, not boxer size, self-defense classes.
But no, I agree.
But no, why weren't they there supporting the family? And it's a great way to have them in there.
No, I agree.
Squeeze them in there.
And
Come on.
That's a good way to look at it. Like have them be there, have them be supportive, and then us being able to see them. All done in the same boom, boom, boom. Right?
And talk to them in Spanish. Don't half-ass things. Yeah. If she's Latina, then she's Latina.
Right. That's one thing I loved about the scene where her mom comes after she gets assaulted and she has her dance to kind of get her mind off of it. I loved that. I loved how she brought some Spanish in when she was talking to her mom, how she did the salsa dancing. I love seeing the culture being incorporated into the character and us getting to see that too. I love when Andy speaks Spanish on the show. I love it. I love when Stefania speaks Italian on the show. I love when the part of the actors, their personal culture is implemented and soaked into the show to us viewers back. I love that.
Yeah, because they used to, back in the day, when they were just sort of edging around the fact that gay people weren't evil.
Oh, yeah.
They would bring a gay person onto a soap opera, onto a TV show, and then make them completely asexual.
Okay.
You know, they would just mention twice, oh yeah, well, because you know that she's gay.
Yeah.
But they would never be attracted to a woman, and they'd never have a girlfriend.
Okay.
So what's the point? Why have you done it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a box ticking exercise, is it? Like, you've said they're gay and then so you've done your bit. Come on, if you're bringing in a gay character, gay them up. Let's see some gay.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. It shouldn't just be mentioned. It should be seen.
Yeah. And so I loved that we kind of got a little bit of, when they did do that episode and they went on the picnic and they were talking about, I made you your favourite food and talking about the dancing and the stuff. I want to see more of that because I don't have, where I live, there's none, I don't get to see that. How am I teach me something. How else am I going to learn about it?
And it kind of brought my mind back to the Millers when they were talking to Ben and Miranda about taking Prue. They said to them that they needed to agree to include her culture, that she would learn about Nigerian culture. And so we haven't even seen any of that, right? Like when we do see Prue, is how are they, I think that'd be a cute episode of seeing how they're helping Prue learn about her Nigerian culture. What are they doing? Are they doing little language classes or, what?
And again, I don't need to see, we don't need to be smacked over the head with it. That's not what I'm asking for. But it'd be nice for them to just tip their hat to it.
Yeah. It'd be super easy to do. It would take 10 seconds and it's honoring that storyline, right?
Yeah. So I would be totally stoked for them to bring Andy's family back and to explore her Latina side more. I would love for them to do more of that. Andy's mum, as a segue from Andy's family. Andy's mum. So she turns up in the same episode as Tiasandra in 316.
Yes, she does.
And then I think 401 follows on from that, doesn't it? And Andy essentially tells her to go jump. And then we see her in a video. She video links into Pruitt's funeral.
Oh, yeah. Okay, got it.
And then she turns up in the same flashbacks as Sandra in 515. But when we see her turn up to take care of Andy after her assault in 516, telling her that it happened to her too, there hasn't been anything in between those two things.
No.
And in that episode, they just have a really short exchange that ends with Andy thanking Elena for coming.
Right.
And then Elena thanks Andy for letting her in. And then there's the bit that you talked about where Elena says, oh, that's enough of the tears. And then she turns on some music and they dance together.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next time we see her is via video chat in 605, and she's teasing Andy about liking Eli while they're like looking at date clothes together.
Right. Yep.
So we missed all of the processing. So it's gone from a little bit of a frosty, thanks for coming, thanks for letting me in, let's have a boogie, to suddenly like a proper mum and daughter relationship, talking about boys choosing clothes for dates.
Right.
And we have seen none of the stuff in between.
Nope. None of the, like, anything, right? I mean, not even...
And that's the important bit.
Yeah.
Like, Andy's whole personality, her whole storyline, the whole way through, like, season 1 and season 2, her whole thing was, I grew up without a mum.
Right.
My mother died. Mm-hmm. You know, I was left alone with my dad.
Right.
And then she finds out that mum didn't die. And then her whole storyline is this, like, oh, I've been abandoned. I'm an abandoned little girl. And my parents lied to me. And so her whole personality has been one way or another about the loss of her mother, either through death or through abandonment. And then when her mother comes back, we don't get to see her work that out. That's literally been her personality for 3 years. Yeah,
no, I agree. I think we're so cheated by that storyline. So cheated.
Yeah.
There's so much to be hashed out, talked about, dealt with. I mean, talk about the emotional...
She doesn't even do it with anyone else.
No, I was just going to say that. We don't even see her, a therapist, Maya, something. Talk to somebody.
Because if you look at the parallel with Maya's relationship with her mother, they have a row at the station, and then Karina tries to talk it out with Maya, and we hear Maya's feelings about her mother in her conversations with Karina. So, I mean, it's Maya, so she doesn't work stuff out. She just gets angry and goes for a run. But at least we understand that she's like trying to process things in her own way, and we know a little bit of where her head is at.
Right. Andy, we got nothing.
There's nothing.
Nope. So.
What the fudge, dude?
Oh, I'm proud of you. No duck quack.
No quackies.
No duck quack.
But it's just a bit of a...
No, you have to put in a duck quack just for me. So they can
I will.
I'll
put one in
quack.
here.
Yep, okay. Quack.
Quack.
Okay,
yep.
Perfect.
But yeah, so Andy's mum. Have you got anything else to say about Andy's mum?
No, because just like they did us wrong, I got nothing.
You're just going to leave them with a whole hefty silence.
Yep, that's what you get.
So should we stay on the mum track and go with Maya's mum? Mm-hmm. Because Beth messaged us on Instagram. Thanks, Beth. And
Hello,
asked
Beth.
What became of... All right, Beth. And asked what became of Maya's mother.
Okay.
Because in the engagement episode, Maya tells Karina that her mum went back to her dad when the pandemic hit.
Yes.
And then in the wedding episode, we see her step out from Lane's shadow when she attends the wedding without him. Mm-hmm. And we know that Maya and Karina have offered to take her in.
Yes.
But there's been zero mention of her ever again.
Right. Yeah.
So what happened? They offered to let her move in. She did step out from Lane's shadow later at the wedding. She came on her own.
Yes.
So that sort of suggests that she's stepped out from under his thumb a little bit, but we don't know where she is, what became of her, what happened. Yeah. Does she still live with Lane? Did she move out again? Is she living independently now? Like, what's the deal? We don't know.
Okay.
And when Maya was sick, her mum wasn't there.
Yeah. Right.
And that's another person that wasn't there for her.
It shouldn't be funny, but it is.
Poor Maya.
I know. Not even her mom is there.
Not even her mother turned up for her. And you would have thought that some sort of family therapy would have been an integral part of her recovery.
Yeah.
From all this childhood trauma that led to her falling off the bloody treadmill in the first place.
Yes.
You know, and she should have been afforded the ability to confront her mother about the abuse. Mm-hmm. You know, but there's been precisely nothing, nada, niente. There's just nothing. Nix. And it just seems odd if they've reconciled, which they appeared to have done at the wedding, that her mother wasn't a more active part of her recovery or didn't even turn up for her.
Yeah. I agree. And I just don't know. I mean, even if it would have been something quick at the wedding, like just a quick acknowledgement, you know, of her presence and just like a hug and a kind of like it reminded me of the reconciliation we got between Ross and Maya when it was just like, I'm sorry. Okay. It was something. Yeah. At least it was addressed, right?
Yes.
So it kind of reminded me of that. Like could we have gotten that? Like, I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. Something. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, I got you. We got nothing. We got nixo.
So I'm disappointed. I wonder, like, if when the bloody baby comes.
God, she's referring to it as the bloody baby. The bloody baby.
I just really want them to get a dog, man.
A dog or a cat?
Yeah, a dog. Get a dog.
Okay.
Dogs, they can bring a dog to the station.
Okay.
Not that I don't love my cats dearly, but I'm just saying a dog works better on TV. But yeah, no, but when the baby comes, I'd love to see Catherine come back to support them.
Yeah.
And I actually think that it'd be a really beautiful way to go if they had her come back to support Karina, because Karina doesn't have her mum anymore.
That's true.
And I would love to see Karina have a mother figure to lean on and to take care of her. Because Karina's always the caretaker. And so I'd love to see Karina have a caretaker that's not her wife. So I would love to see that kind of relationship for her to have a mother figure as she steps into motherhood.
Okay.
So that would be a really nice way for them to bring Catherine back.
That'd be actually really cool. I like that thought process. That I like the flow of that thought and how that could potentially, if I can talk, how that could potentially play out.
Yeah.
So I'm digging it. Digging it, chica.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roboto.
What the fudge is that?
It's a song. Thank you very much, Mr. Roboto. No? Okay. We will keep going.
Really very different over here.
It's a song. I don't remember who sings it, but they make the robot sounds after they say the thank you very much, Mr. Roboto. They go. It's like the Tin Man sounds, like when he can't move right, and so it's like he needs oil. So he's okay. I've lost you. We will continue where we were going. It doesn't
sound like a good song, and you bagged me for singing "I Touched Myself."
Yeah, this is about robots, not touching myself.
I don't know what you're talking about. The Divinals sung about an expression of love.
That's what that is. Okay.
That's what that is.
Okay. Sorry. Keep going, please.
Let's roll on. Peter Paige, if you want to use any of my ideas, you just, you can just message me. We can talk.
We'll work it out, man.
Because that was a great idea about Maya's mum coming back. The Tiffany's made me feel good about my idea.
Yeah.
You take that and you run with it, Peter Paige.
You do it. You do what you got to do, man.
Mason, similarly, has disappeared.
He has. He's gone. He's just went away.
But at least, like, the idea of him is still kicking around. He's mentioned in the wedding episode, and Maya says she doesn't know where he is. But then, oddly, in 511, when Maya and Karina are discussing using a donor.
Oh, yeah.
Karina says, "Oh, so are you thinking about your brother?"
Right.
When Maya says it'd be good to have a donor, we know.
Yeah.
Karina says, "Oh, so what? Like your brother?"
Yeah.
Now, why would you suggest that if he's in the wind and nobody knows where he is?
Right. Why would she even suggest him?
So that was an odd thing to throw in. So is he still in the wind, or is he kicking about somewhere?
No, I agree.
For Karina to say that.
Right, like why would it even be suggested?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also he can't be that hard to track down. He couldn't have gotten that far. And somebody in the community would have some idea of where he is, I would have thought, or like where he can be found.
Right.
And I think that, again, it would be really great for them to reconcile properly.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And for them both, for Maya and Mason, to both reconcile with their mother properly.
Oh, God, how cool would that be? Have them reconcile with each other and then with the mom. That would be so cute. I love it.
Because now we've got like a softer, less eyes forward Maya. I would love to see her have a family around her, and for there to be, again, then more support for Karina, who doesn't have a mother or a brother of her own because she's lost her brother as well. So imagine if she could like have a brother again.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's super cool.
So
I really like where you went with that. I do. All right, Peter Paige.
Call me.
We'll work it out.
We'll sort it out. Do you have anything more on the families kind of side of things?
Just Travis's parents.
Yes.
I feel like we lost, we had quite a bit of his mom for a while there. Her bringing food. The one episode, which was so powerful, it didn't get touched on as much as it should have, but the Asian hate that was going on in America around COVID.
Oh my God, yes.
That episode was so powerful. But like I said, didn't get as much attention as it should have because that was awful.
No, it didn't.
When Travis opened up to Denise about the acts of the hate crimes that were going on to Asian Americans, that was just, it was like maybe one or two lines and that was it. And it should have gotten way more than that.
Yes, it deserved more than that. It deserved more than that.
Yeah, but his mom in the show, that she did such a good job portraying, with the little bit of time that she got, portraying the emotion around that. And then we have, his dad with his coming out and finding out who he is and his identity.
And his golf buddy.
Yeah. It's just so much that we miss out on, that's just kind of dropped. And that was it. And so I feel like Travis's parents, huge, kind of lost there, I guess we'll use those words. What do you think?
Yeah, same. And there was the opportunity for that again, I think, when he was running for mayor. That was a really big deal in his life. And we did see his parents there at all. And his mum seems like one of those like helicopter mums,
Yes.
And so, but she wasn't there for that.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good one. I didn't even think about that they could have been there for the mayoral run. So yeah, for a family, that's kind of all I got was just Travis's parents.
Yeah. No, but I think it's really, really valid. Yeah.
Awesome.
And join us next week for the third and final installment of a spotlight on Lost Storylines.